Yay, happy Friday to all our attendees joining us. Look at this. This is great. Everybody's coming in all on time today. Everybody's ready for the weekend.
I know I am. It's been a long, busy week.
Friday.
Friday, yes.
Welcome, everybody.
You add the board meetings and all the committee meetings on top of all the normal stuff, and so we've got Florida fall boards going on. Right after this, I have to jump on the actual board meeting, and then next week more of NAHB meetings, and it's a crazy time of year. Even when you do it virtually, it just spreads out when they do it virtually.
It's good though, because you get to see lots of folks you don't normally see.
That's right. That's right. So Debbie Boyd is on. That's my co-chair. Hey, Debbie Boyd. Thank goodness we have people like Debbie Boyd to pick up the pieces whenever I drop them. So I wonder if we should probably, since we are just, what time is it now? 1:02 Eastern time. Lisa, thank you for getting up early with us this morning. So
it was my pleasure.
Coming to us from California.
Sunny California.
All righty, well, we will kick it off. So welcome everybody to 2020 Vision. It's a game changer. It is Carol's birthday.
Yay!
Yay! Hang on, I'm going off camera. So today, of course, because it's Carol's birthday, we are talking about all things event related and party related, but we couldn't not let today go by without sharing a little birthday wish to Carol. So happy birthday. I got you a virtual cupcake.
Ooh, thank you so much. See if I can receive it virtually. Oh, it has to be in front of me. There you go.
Oh, wow.
Enjoy this cupcake. Thank you so much.
It looks
nice
yummy.
To have another birthday.
It's in 2020, it's really nice to have another birthday, right? So
certainly beats the alternative.
It most certainly does. So I'm glad that you are both healthy, and I hope that everybody who's joining us is as well. Whether you're joining us live or you're listening to us on the recording. We've had so many people who join us and listen on the recordings. It's really been amazing. But I will move on. And Carol, since you're the birthday girl, why don't you kick us off by introducing yourself?
Well, I am Carol Morgan from Cartersville, Georgia, which is in the metro Atlanta area. I'm president and founder of Denim Marketing. We have been virtual since March 13th, so it's very strange. You can't see me because of my virtual background. You can't see my office, but I'm sitting in this big office, let's say all by myself, but today is my birthday, so my staff did come in. It was very nice. We had an event on the front porch of my farmhouse. We had a social distance lunch. It was very nice. So Mandy's in the office with me today, but you can't see her because she's camping out behind me. So hello,
hi, Mandy.
Yeah. Hi, Mandy, says Kimberly, and hello from Atlanta to everybody.
So, and I am Kimberly Mackey. My company is New Home Solutions Consulting, and I work with builders, developers, and also large brokerages. I like to say that I'm the person that people bring in to make sure that sales is the engine that drives the train rather than running it off the tracks. So I pull all the parts and pieces together. My primary role is that of a management consultant, but I also speak and train and coach to support that role. So if you can use either of us or you need help from either of us, then I encourage you to reach out. And I can't wait to introduce you guys to the beautiful Lisa Parrish. She's usually behind the scenes and nobody gets to see her. So this is awesome to have her right up front. If you guys don't know Lisa, you're missing out, because I'm telling you, I think she goes to bed with more energy than most of us wake up with. She is definitely a go-getter. She is the Chief Creative Chick, and I love that title, and partner with Team PMP. And this is how you can reach her. So for over 30 years, because she did literally start when she was a child, Lisa has honed her skills in the management and production of industry events for every size group. She's passionate about providing inspiration to others through a willingness to share knowledge and mentoring others in the home building industry. Her specialties are marketing, promotion, design, and sales, and she produces the top industry awards at a national level. I mean, she has this, they're the Oscars of our industry. So the Nationals, Gold Nugget, Aurora, and Excel, so many others. I mean, the list, McSam, and it's a pleasure to work with her. I've had the privilege of judging a couple of times, and it's always just an amazing experience. I always learn a lot. So in 2020, Team PMP has successfully produced 8 awards programs virtually. Talk about
in 90 days.
Mind blown, right?
Wow.
So they have been able to pick up the baton, shift gears, improvise, adapt, overcome, and do it in style. So we felt like there really wasn't anybody better to have on today to talk about pulling together events in a very uncertain and ever-changing market. So welcome, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, ladies. I am thrilled, and happy birthday, Carol.
Well, thank you. We're thrilled to have you here. I mean, what a better party planner to have.
So guys, pick her brain. This is your opportunity. So get that chat going and ask any questions that you want. So Edward Bush says that Creative Chick is an awesome title.
Thanks.
So, Carol, you want to kick us off with this event that I immediately went when I saw?
Yes, I'm happy to kick this off. So we helped Coulter Homes plan a bash, which is business and social hour, for its newest Atlanta community, Crestwin, Georgia at Twin Lakes. About 75 people attended this event that welcomed the members of the Jackson County Area Chamber of Commerce to this open house. This was held on a Thursday night, September 17th, so just a couple weeks ago, from 5 to 7. And obviously it featured a ribbon cutting with the mayor, and it was just a big welcome to this new Houston community. The event was held outside so that people could, socially distance as per their level of comfort. Some people wore masks. As you can see, a lot of people didn't. I will say this is Georgia, and you know how the red states go. So it is still the wild, wild west. You can see that. This is a 55 plus community. And, but this was the Chamber of Commerce event. So a lot of these people are not residents, and they're not, looking to buy a home here. All 15 decorated models were open so that attendees could tour them, and the sales agents were on hand to answer any questions. What I thought was really cool that they did is they had beer and wine served from farmers and fishermen's purveyors. And that's a company known for their fresh fish. But people could also buy fresh fish from them to go cook later. So in addition to serving, food that you ate during the event, you could take food home as well. So that was kind of fun. And this community, I just have to brag on them. They opened in the middle of COVID, VIP only. So you had to, have a VIP appointment to go and make your sale and choose your lot and choose your home and choose your plan. I think that they sold 109 homes in about 90 days. We have not seen anything like that. And that was all, VIP appointment only. They opened to the public, several weeks. Is probably almost a month later after their VIP sales, but it's been incredibly well received. And they literally in 90 days sold, pretty much what they thought they would sell the first year. So a big thumbs up to them.
Wow. So, and look at that aerial, man. I mean, you can see why. What an amazing place to have a community.
It's gorgeous.
Oh.
So if you're in Georgia and you haven't gone to see it, it is worth the drive. This community is truly amazing. It's got 2 lakes on it. Crestwin, Georgia is just part of what's there. There's a whole nother second phase that's got, other builders who are building, not active adult products. So there'll be about, I don't think it was 2,400, 2,500 homes when the complete community is finished.
And they are award winners, Carol. They won an Aurora award for community site plans. So head out there.
Awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome. You said something, you said to everybody's level of comfort. And I think that's such a key right now. You know, sometimes I'm seeing these events on Facebook and I'm seeing different, you know, and you do kind of go, wait, is that current? Is it a flashback? You know, when you see people not wearing masks, but down in Lee County, or Charlotte, actually, the Charlotte Builders Association down there with Donna Barrett, they have created armbands. They have the little wristbands that you put on that are different colors, and those say, you know, whether you're keeping social distance, so it can avoid those awkward moments of somebody coming up to hug you or shake your hand, and you have to go, whoa, wait a minute, you know. So they're doing that, and allowing people, they're of course holding a lot of their events outside, but that gave people the choice. So I thought that was maybe a really good idea to do for something.
I think that's a great idea. We've seen that with name tags here. So different colored name tags, which, you know, mean you're wide open, come talk to me, or, you know, keep your distance, or, you know, whatever the third, there's like 3 different colors. So I think that's a good idea too.
Is it like red, yellow, green? Like red, no, don't do it. Yellow, like maybe, and green, like I'm all over this.
Yeah, green, just come on over and hug me.
For sure.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, you know, we could have used that. My dad got married back in August, and the pastor was the one who was going around like shaking everybody's hand and hugging and kissing everybody. And I was like, we're from Florida. You might want to keep your distance.
Oh, that's funny.
That was back, you know, when we had like a 15% rate or something. So yeah, fortunately it's gone down since then. So let's talk about the nature walk at Seven Hills too.
Yeah, so another one of our Atlanta clients, this is Artisan Built Communities. They recently hosted the grand opening of their new model park and design center, Nature Walk at Seven Hills. And you all may have heard of Seven Hills. It's a huge master plan development. It's been around forever, but it's got different sections to it. So this was held again during coronavirus, Saturday the 12th. They offered VIP tours of all 3 model homes and the design center, and they did ask attendees to wear masks while inside the models and the design center. So then attendees were able to social distance outside while enjoying live music. They had food trucks, which you can see here. They offered door prizes and special incentives and financing opportunities. They were asked to RSVP on Eventbrite, which I thought was super smart, because that way they had a kind of an idea of how many people were coming so they could more effectively plan the event. They did have 300 people attend this event.
Wow.
And as a result, they do have multiple homes now under contract. But it was kind of creative and a little bit different than what we see you know, typically in a master plan community, because they literally put 3 different model homes that represent the 3 different products they build throughout the community side by side by side. So one is more targeted toward entry level, one is an active adult home, and one is an estate home. And those are all available in different sections of this master plan community.
Hey, Carol, did they stagger those appointments, or did they just allow them to attend whenever it was comfortable for them?
You know, I honestly don't know the answer to that, but I think the idea of staggering it is probably, you know, the safest thing to do, because I know they only allowed a certain number of people in the model homes at the same time. So I think they did stagger the model home tours, but I don't know that they necessarily staggered when you got there and ate and hung out and all of that.
We're seeing that happening in other areas where they're staggering, they're having the event, but they're making appointments for different times in order to, number one, help the process of people attending, but also to help the sales team on site to be able to have that, you know, control factor of the crowd. So
yeah, because if you've got, you know, even if you've pulled sales agents from other communities, you're only going to have certain number of sales agents. And if you really have 300 people who all want a tour at once, that's just not going to happen.
Absolutely. So you have a little bit of ability to have that conversation rather than just everybody free for all.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, I talked to our friend Lori Asaro in San Diego, and she told me something that they've implemented in their model centers is, because they do the model rows as well, is that they have cards that they give people, and they're so when you go in, there's a slot to put the card in. So one group is touring at a time, and then you don't have somebody walking in and go, oh, I'm sorry, didn't realize you were in here. But then you kind of, it's kind of like, you know, this stall is occupied kind of thing. So,
yeah.
Exactly.
But it's great because, again, any kind of code that you can give to avoid those really socially awkward moments.
Right.
I think is,
yeah.
I guess the awkward pass coming up and down the stairs, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why they did them all as, you know, VIP guided tours. And I know they were all touchless tours also. They asked people not to touch anything, which I know is really hard to do when you're going through a model. You want to, you know, touch the granite or touch the cabinets or whatever. So
I
is hard.
walked some product over the weekend, and I even forgot, and I went to open the kitchen cabinet, and immediately I was told, don't touch anything. And it's just your natural inclination, right?
Right.
It's muscle memory.
Yeah, we do have a question here on how do they attract the visitors for this event. They did a lot of it through email marketing. So email marketing, lots of social media. So social media ads, as well as social media organic posts. We did blog posts for them. I think we sent 5 different e-blasts to realtors, as well as just the Atlanta, you know, real estate community in general. And I don't think they did anything beyond that. That's the part we worked with them on, but I could certainly check. But, you know, social media is huge in terms of attracting people. And again, this is an older neighborhood. It's been around forever, but I don't know that it's had a new model park in a decade. So it was, you know, kind of a great opportunity for anyone who'd been interested perhaps in living at Seven Hills, which has, you know, huge amenities, because they've got amenities for the entire neighborhood as well as for kind of the individual communities within the neighborhood. So if you've been keeping your eye on that, then this is a great opportunity to see the whole neighborhood, see what was available, and see the new homes as well.
They probably, with their CRM, have been very active in staying in touch with people too. So they had a strong database.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which always helps. So, all right. Let's see here. Let's talk about the Fox Lane homes too. They had a launch.
I love this. This is one of the cutest things we've seen a client do. And this was all Fox Lane. We just, you know, enjoyed watching it on their Facebook page. So I wanted to brag about them. You know, what's the best way to get attention? You know, use your kids. Kids are great. Everybody loves cute kids. So they did a Facebook Live video that featured the builder's daughters. So the Morrissey girls give a kid's perspective of the newly built Dartmouth model home at Warwick Mill. So they literally go through and they point out the extra large laundry room for all the kids' laundry, where all that can be done, the flex space where they can do their homework, the large kitchen island for their snack breaks, you know, how they're going to read in the living room or movie night in the living room. And one of the cutest things is the littlest daughter climbs into the huge soaking tub in the owner's suite and talks about how much her parents like this bathroom, but that she loves the tub. Yeah, it's just really cute. They did it as a Facebook Live video, and it was shot on April 23rd. And since then, they have had over 1,000 views of this video. And I think it's because it's just so cute. And this neighborhood, I think this is one of the neighborhoods that they're completely sold out of now. They have just been on fire since, you know, the pandemic started. And actually, pretty much all of our builders have. Everything is going, gone. Anyone who hasn't started that sales process now better get busy, because I'm not sure we're going to have any inventory left in the U.S. by December 31st.
No, that's definitely what we're seeing too. So, you know, but I think it's important that we get so, as builders, we get so focused on our product, right, that we forget it really does need that human touch. And we get so serious with our advertising and our marketing and our events. And, you know, it's not. It should be touchy-feely. It should be, this is where people are going to, now they're living even more of their lives. So, which that's the reason people are moving right now and you know, trying to, the mass exits of the metro areas into the suburbs and the exurbs. So have fun.
Well, and then having the perspective of a little kid to tell you how they're going to live in the home is so precious and so totally spot on for a family buyer.
Right. Absolutely. It's just a really cute video. So go to Fox Lane Homes Facebook page and you can click on videos and see it there.
I'm definitely going to do that. When I'm in a model center, whenever the parents come in and they bring their kids, I always just ignore the parents. Right down on the kids level, I'm talking to the kids and I'm like thanking them for bringing their parents out. So this just takes it to a whole new level. I love that.
My favorite part of walking any product is when you hear a family walk into a home and you hear the little kids go, but this is going to be my room. That's just it right there. When they claim their space and you know that this is going to be where they're going to grow up, it's just, that's what home is about.
That's why we do it, right? That's
right.
Yeah. So Lisa, you had Russell Ranch that you were telling us about. This is really cool.
So this is fantastic. So obviously, you know, grand openings in the year of 2020 have adapted and changed. This is a large master plan in Folsom, California, which is outside of Sacramento. that was planning to be opened in the spring. You know, they had 6,000 registered engaged people who wanted to come out and see all the new amenities and all the new product lines. And obviously in June, that was not going to happen as they had originally planned. So they had to pivot and move on to what we call now the virtual sales experience or event. And so what they did is they decided to, they did a complete website takeover. They did a social media featuring all of the information and an email marketing push. And they encouraged all their online visitors to celebrate the grand opening and take an interactive tour of the amenities. This got them engaged, got them to feel comfortable and confident to walk through and see what everything was, and to see all the resort style amenities that were being brought online for the very first time. Now, this is something very different in California. When we have amenities, normally they come very late in the process rather than coming early in the process as in other parts of the country. So this was a big deal. And so when they brought it online, they wanted to make sure people feel comfortable and confident, but they also wanted to make sure that they could see it. So that was phase one, was the interactive tours. After that, in phase two, they had, and those, just to let you know, they garnered 3,000 tours in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it had incredible engagement. Now, once that took place, they went back to those folks who took the tours, and then they put into phase two, they took the interest list and they invited them into exclusive opportunities to take small group tours of the amenities on site to get them in place. And that was based on how they felt comfortable touring in person. And it was great. They were curated. They talked to them about the buyer profiles. They put them in touch with the right builders. The prospects felt safe. The elements were flexible. And at the end of the day, they sold a whole bunch of houses. So it was well thought out, well executed. And again, you know, engaging in the opportunities of online tools and technology, but also taking it back down to that human scale. So it was an award winner for the North State Awards. So that's where we found it.
Those amenities look amazing. Look how gorgeous. Oh.
Yeah. And 3,000 tours, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, the numbers were quite impressive.
So, and to do that and be able to pivot like they did, you know, to go from, they had all the stuff planned and then just boom, had to, at the drop of a hat, change everything. That, I think so many people are finding themselves in that situation right now.
Yeah. It's where creativity comes from, all this change. So it's kind of fun to see the you know, building community get creative and find different ways to do it.
Right. We will find a way, right?
Absolutely.
It's sad we have to be forced to do it though. So now we got to keep this creativity going.
Mm-hmm. So this is Nexton, and this is also Newland Communities. This is one of their large master plan communities. It just won the Gold Nugget Awards for Community Site Plan. It's going to be 2,400 homes, I believe, or more. It's beautiful. It's outside Charleston, about 50 miles outside Charleston. And they were in the process again of, you know, everything was in motion, and then this comes online. So they had to do the same thing. They had to start, you know, pivoting, going to those curated tours, those conversations via Zoom to make sure that they took their prospects and put them in touch with the right builders. And so what they chose to do is they wanted to move from larger grand opening events to smaller ones. They're going to a series of smaller events. They're going to sign the prospects up, and over the series of a month, you'll be invited to come and have a curated experience. They're going to then take that and they're going to put those folks, depending on what their buyer profile, they're going to put them into pockets so that each group fits a desired information. Like, I really want to know about amenities, or I really want to know about lifestyle, or I really want to know about homes. And then they're going to humanize it. They really want to make these more concierge-like tours, really bringing back that human scale, which we're all missing. I think that's the thing I miss the most, and I'm sure you all are the same way. Just standing in front of someone, talking to someone, rather than being across a screen. And so this is going to be better for the consumer and better for the on-site team to connect and create those relationships. And, you know, that's just it. Trying to find that pathway back from, we had to all jump into technology, and now transitioning back from technology and making our friend back to human scale.
And that is, you know, it can be really difficult, is I guess what I'm trying to say, because again, everybody's comfort level, regardless of what the regulations are or anything, it's everybody's comfort level. So It's going to be interesting to see how well this goes for them in the future as they roll this out. But I love the idea of the concierge experience and, you know, making it feel intimate and safe.
This is their original information studio that they had offsite, and now they've actually moved their studio into model row home, and they call it model home row. And they've put as almost like a tiny garage style house. And so now you can come in and it's very small. There's a walk-up window if you don't want to come inside. And they've just scaled it into so much more of a human scale. And I just love it. So more innovation to come, but exciting. Like you said, I think we've gone 3 years in advancement of our technology and our sales skills in 3 months.
Oh, absolutely. I love the walk-up window idea.
Me too.
No, it's like an ice cream window. I mean, it's fabulous. So if you want to stand outside and the salesperson's inside and you just open the window, it's tremendous.
Great idea.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. I have a builder in Virginia, in the Northern Virginia market, and they have very limited. They're like everybody else. They're very limited with what they're rolling out, right? So they only had 24 townhomes in this one community. They have 900 people on their VIP list, and so they sent a survey and sent some information out, asked people to fill that out, pared down the list from there. To then they went to a lottery situation because they still ended up with way too many people. And they ended up in a lottery situation. And then 2 weeks later, they duplicated that at another Northern Virginia community.
Wow.
So because again, this, you know, how do you go from, you know, they planned a big virtual event and, you know, they figured, you know, all these people would come and tour and they would buy homes, you know, like normal. But now they're trying to manage it and they're trying to, like a lot of places, throttle the sales down to this manageable level because there's so many unknowns about when can we deliver them and what is the cost going to be with the lumber and can we get appliances in or air conditioner parts or vinyl windows, you know, all of those things that our builders are being hit with all of a sudden. But
and also
they
at the same
all of that virtually.
And also at the same time, managing not to frustrate the buyer who is there and who expects you're going to be able to walk in and tell them, I want to buy this house and it's going to be easy, so that they don't get turned off or, you know, just get a bad taste in their mouth. So that's the new, the fall 2020 problem.
Right. Absolutely.
And you have to set really good expectations. You need to tell people this is what's going to happen. This is the order it's going to happen. And then you have to remind them of that because they'll forget. And then those smaller personal appointments. So if you do all of this stuff online, then how do you bring the people in and engage them in the process face to face for those people who are local? I mean, we're selling reloads left and right, and some people aren't local. So you have to do the whole process, which I think you have to really work hard when the whole process is virtual.
You know, that's a really good point because you mentioned it earlier, and I think we talked about it. Ken Burns just talked about it on another seminar I was listening to, where we're having the exodus, as you were saying. People are moving from Oregon to Texas or Texas to North Carolina. And so here's the difference is what you're used to in your home market is completely different in the market you're moving to. And so you do have to school those people on this is how it's done here and this is what to expect and how the processes work because they might not be familiar.
Well, even if they are, you know, I'm going through the process and thank goodness we're nearing the end of it. For those of you who've been on this journey with me, I'm still coming to you from my hidden underground bunker. But, you know, even me knowing the process the way that I do, there have been some surprises along the way. And, you know, it was like, oh, I forgot to tell you that. Or, oh, wait, this is why this person is now contacting you. Or, you know, or even using the technology. The portal, like for the mortgages, well, it's like automated. So if somebody doesn't go in after I upload this stuff, then I keep getting alerts going, hey, we need your stuff again. We need your stuff again. Cause you know, we've been at it so long. Now you got to refresh this stuff. And so having those people go in and touch those things, it was funny. Yesterday we got an email that said our cabinets are in and I'm like, well, good. Cause they've been there for 6 weeks. You know, so, you know, having that technology match up so you can match that experience again with the person, but we forget because we do it so much, we forget to set those expectations.
It's interesting being on the other side, being the consumer rather than being on the builder side, right?
It's been a really good exercise for me, and it's enhanced the way that I'm teaching the customer experience. So, you know, I worked with a builder on Tuesday, and that was really what everything that the salespeople said was, how do I, when I'm not physically interacting with people, stay ahead of things and keep my customers happy? We did a 4-hour virtual on that. So. Yeah, it's a concern, and it involves mapping that process out. But I think any of this, you've got to stop. We can't just do this stuff on the fly. You know, you didn't do 8 events in 90 days, you said?
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
On the fly.
No, it's all about planning and then execution, right?
Exactly. And thinking of those contingencies. So, you know, what happens when things go wrong? Well, I think sometimes we like to put our rose-colored glasses on and only think about when things go right, but plan for if something goes wrong with any of this.
Well, this year has been great training for that, hasn't it?
Right? Because so like if it can, it will.
Yeah, we've planned and replanned, and yeah, change is constant.
People keep saying, well, do you have a B or a C plan? I say, no, we have an X and a Z plan because every day something will change.
Right. And it's so many things just out of your control.
Yeah. Well, here is another fun one, and this one's coming up. And actually, Kimberly Garwood, who schemed up this event, is on our call today. So, hey, Kimberly, this is Trayton Homes, and I think this is super creative. They're inviting agents to a Touchless Tours event. It's through October 31st, and it's to showcase the clubhouse grand opening at one of their new active adult communities. They've already sold about 25% of this community, maybe a little bit more. They're priced from the high 300s and located in West Cobb, if you all are familiar with West Cobb County here in Atlanta, that's Marietta area. Just a really, really great location. Really nice product. And then to sweeten the deal and entice agents to come tour, they're offering a $500 Amazon gift charge just for scheduling and attending a private tour. So, you know, this is a whole different approach on it. So you can see, you know, we've got really both ends of the spectrum here in Georgia. We've got people who are wide open and having events and inviting everybody with some social distancing. And then we have, you know, these touchless tours, which I think is a fantastic idea. So you just make your appointment and you don't touch anything and you tour one-on-one.
And are real estate offices open there? I mean, are they holding their sales meetings? They have their agents back in the office there?
Some of them are, some of them aren't. It's really all over the place. And some of these offices have discovered that they can do all their open houses on Facebook Live and get just as good of results as they do when they hold open houses in person. So again, it runs the gamut, but I think technology has given people so much more flexibility that, again, it's their level of comfort. So it's whatever the sales team is comfortable with and what they feel like their buyers are comfortable with. Because, you know, the reality is, let's face it, I think COVID's going to be with us for a while. It might be a couple more years before we have, you know, a vaccine out that's truly effective and have all this under control. So we all need to figure out what we're comfortable with and how much we want to do, you know, how much face-to-face do we want to have. So I think, you know, we're kind of working through that in Georgia, and the good news is the numbers keep going down. So far it's working.
Yeah, fingers crossed it stays that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but I think the fact that we do these things on virtual, you know, we should continue that even when we can go back, because there are always those people who might attend but can't physically get there. So you just broaden your reach. So think of ways that you can incorporate both a hybrid kind of event. So, or maybe it's 2 separate events if you can't figure out how to incorporate them together, but there is something about that energy of having the people there.
Right.
I call that the Netflix effect. Okay. So I don't think we're ever going to go back to where we don't do this like you said, in a hybrid way, because here's what happens. People are now so conditioned to believe that they can digest content at their own schedule. So they're going to say, hey, listen, I can't come on Thursday at 2:00. I'm busy that day, but I don't want to miss it. So how do I get that information? And because I do really want it, I just don't want it at that exact time. So that's something we need to all kind of understand, is how people are digesting information and then just being flexible with that. Because it's going to be the way of the future for sure.
I love that Netflix effect. I think I'm going to use that.
Mhm.
Can we steal that? Yeah.
Is that an original?
That's a Lisa Parrishism, so feel free.
Okay.
I give it to the industry, but I really feel like this is it. It's the, you know, we've seen it with our events, and I'm sure you've seen it with, you know, with your own webinars that you've seen. 70% of the people will watch it live, but the other 30% are going to take it and they'll watch it over 7 to 10 days.
Absolutely.
And that may even be flip-flopped. So, because we've seen, I mean, you know, we see the numbers really tick up even on our webinars. So Barbara Ray just actually said the same thing. So, yeah, the fact that we record them.
I love all these different phrases and words that are coming out of the pandemic. One of my other favorites is calling the office the Zoom room.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard other things? You know, are there other things that are being used that are new ways of referring to things that we can all kind of as an industry latch onto and use?
Well, I'll have to think about that. You know, they pop up in conversation when you're talking now, because you just refer to things differently. But I love that. You're exactly right. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and even our participants, are you all hearing new phrases or, you know, like the Netflix effect? That's awesome. Or Zoom room, you know, share them if you have any of them. I love all these fun new things that are coming out.
Well, and that's just it. We have to embrace that this is what it is. Okay. We have no control over it. So how do we make it? How do we change the way we approach it and reframe it and make it positive for all of us? Because it's something we can't control.
Right. Absolutely.
No, but people do want to connect. I mean, we are social beings by nature, right? So we want to connect in any way that we can. And, you know, I mean, even, you know, my in-laws who are in their 80s to have them connect by Zoom now. And my father-in-law is so grateful that, you know, we introduced him to Zoom because they're on the other side of the country and they can't see their kids or their grandkids. So, you know, it really, you know, everybody, don't just think this is a millennial thing of people that are going to continue to Zoom in or FaceTime in or whatever. I think it's across the board. So
for sure.
And that's so true, Kimberly. I think the one thing that COVID has done with everybody sheltering in place has raised the bar of, you know, for technology in general. So instead of it being that kind of low bar where you had people who weren't even, you know, quite at that baseline, we have a whole lot more people who have a baseline of understanding of how to use technology.
For sure.
For the most part. I saw some things yesterday on a giant Zoom that I was on. I'm like, you people know your camera's on, right?
Well, I have a client, and I shouldn't share this. I won't share who the client is or where in the US they are, but sent me a photo just that he had snapped of a screen during a call, because literally the vendor partner he was talking to, among other people on the call, so there were multiple people on the call is my point, but one guy was sitting there with no shirt on. Like he just didn't seem to realize. And finally somebody said, you do realize your camera's on and that we can see you.
Oh, no.
You know, this is somebody that would have been more appropriate for them to be wearing, you know, a tie and a shirt, not sitting there half dressed. And I'm like, well, thank goodness you couldn't see what he had on his bottom half. It was probably just boxers. If you were lucky, he had those on. So yes, so there is definitely still that lack of understanding that, you know, people can see you.
Yeah, you would think that we'd gotten through those. So, and this one is something I'm kind of proud of myself for. I think I invented a thing.
All right, what is it? Tell us.
Yeah, so I created a cyber bus tour. So one of the things that I do is I run a program with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services here in the Tampa market. It's a huge group franchise here. And we have about 700 to 800 agents. We cover, I don't know, I think we're 6-7 counties now. So, you know, it's crazy. I have 33 builders that participate in this program. And I love it because it keeps me grounded in my Tampa market. So I always know what's going on in the market. And instead of back, you know, when I was on airplanes all the time and traveling or working in other parts of the country. But every year in the summer, usually we have a bus tour to go visit the preferred builders. And I put the realtors on the bus. We always have some sort of theme. You know, we did Run for the Roses one year because we did it around the Kentucky Derby and everybody wore their big hats and we had a contest for that. We've done tacky tourists. So everybody dressed up like tacky tourists. We literally had a guy paint himself pink. So he looked like he had a sunburn. with the flip flops and, you know, and the zinc on his face and the big
funny.
hat. I mean, it was hilarious. So these agents really get into this. So we continued some of those traditions, as you can see in the picture on the right. We actually continued with the costume contest. And the way that we carried it off was just to have them send their pictures to us in advance. And Krista, my account manager for this, put the collage together. And then we had everybody who was on the bus tour vote on the best costume. And of course, there was a big prize for that with our sponsor of the day. So, but we said we flew on a magic bus and we were flying around. We didn't have to have the constraints of keeping it in one area because this market is so huge here. And of course, traffic is so bad. You can only go so far on a physical bus. But we were able to cover areas and, you know, fly from Southwest County over to Pinellas County to back into Polk County and up into Hernando and then come back, you know. So it was really cool to be able to do that and showcase many parts of the market, which got a lot more of our agents involved. So we had quite a few who attended. I think on the first one, I think we ended up with about 35 or 40 who were on there. And, you know, if you can get agents' attention for that amount of time, that's pretty good. And then the second one, we ended up with just under that, but somewhere around 30, 35. So it was pretty cool. We had fun with it. You can see the picture on the left. I had some fun with virtual screens and put a picture of myself up as, you know, from one of the past bus tours that I had behind me. And we did sports as the second costume contest. So that was me dressed up with my Bolts hat. Go Bolts, by the way. Stanley's getting a tan. So we got the Stanley Cup here. Have to get that in. But, you know, we just had a lot of fun with it. And so many of our builders could get involved. And they were talking to each other across. And we had people stationed at different places. So we had some people at the amenities, some people in the model center, some people in the sales center, and they would throw to each other, and they did some virtual tours, and we encouraged them to use gimbals so that nobody got dizzy or seasick from watching them walk around. And, you know, you have to test, you have to make sure that you've got good Wi-Fi wherever you're doing it, but I had backups. So if I lost anybody, I could go to a virtual tour or something, and I could just immediately throw to that. And we didn't lose the time until they could log back in or whatever, because stuff did go wrong. But we had a lot of fun with it. So thanks, Claudette. So Claudette said that great idea. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we sold quite a few homes from it. So we had 6 or 7 appointments for the Park Square homes in Mirror Bay, like immediately. Like agents were scheduled, they kept interrupting to schedule appointments for people while we were actually doing the bus tour. So if it doesn't exist, create it. I mean, just be creative about it, you know?
Talk a little bit more about the logistics. You did 2 days and you started at 10. So about how many different communities or properties did you see, and how late in the day did it go, and how many people participated?
So we tried to keep it at a couple of hours. So we allowed 20 minutes per builder, you know, and 10 minutes for stuff and awards and for the agents to ask questions and that sort of thing. So we kept it at 2 hours, and we did 4 builders, 4 communities each day. And we had a sponsor for the day, and they got to have 2 communities if they wanted to. And then we added 2 more communities. They were also the prize sponsor. So that was awesome. It didn't cost anything for them to participate. Other than just providing some prizes to, you know, because you always need a carrot when you've got agents to get them involved. So, and the agents love their prizes.
That's fantastic. Sounds fun.
Well, and that's great because there's a low threshold for the sponsor, but great benefit and great payoff. And you kept it, you know, the right time for virtual land. I call it virtual world. You know, virtual world, you have to do things in smaller bites because our butts get tired from sitting.
Yes.
So no, kudos. And the fact that you were able to go further and than you had before, you seized your opportunity.
And I didn't break a sweat. Normally I'd do them in July and I'm roasting. By the end of the day, I feel like I'm a drowned rat. So it was a lot of fun to just sit here in the air conditioning doing it. It's certainly not the same. It doesn't replace touching everything and being out there. But you know what? It was the next best thing to being there.
So I keep hearing from people, they're like, oh, I'm so worried that, you know, this is all going to replace, you know, on-site tours or the ability for people to gather. And I say, absolutely not. as soon as people can go out and can be together again, there will be no problem. People will be going to concerts and movies and touring model homes and everything that we've all, you know, come to take a little bit for granted that now we don't have. I think we'll be back in a strong way.
Oh, I agree. I mean, people are already, they're trying to get creative about how to get out there and do stuff. This was another one that I wrote on the caption here, rewrite the rules, right? So we don't have to do something in just a few hours. So I thought this was really creative. So D.R. Horton, and they've done this a couple times, it's been very successful. They hold broker opens over the course of a week. So instead of it being a one-day event or a few hours, they expanded it out. And I mean, it's just gone really, really well for them to be able to do that. So, you know, and they have prizes, they're doing drawings, they have their bonus cards that they're handing out. But again, agents have to make an appointment to come so that they can control the traffic flow through. We're in Florida. It is the wild, wild west. They could get away with doing it, but they've decided to err on the side of caution and still make sure that, you know, people feel comfortable coming out, that they know they're not going to be in a large crowd, and do it in a safe way. So despite, you know, sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you should. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was just a really great idea, and kudos to them for coming up with that one.
Again, going back to that flexible scheduling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's probably easier for more agents to get there.
Exactly.
This is one of my favorite ideas. I can't wait for Lisa to tell us more about it.
Love this.
Well, I don't take full credit for this. I give this to our partners at the BIA of Northern California, or Bay Area, forgive me, BIA Bay Area. So this was our MAME Awards. It was supposed to be held in a beautiful ballroom at the Hyatt Regency in San Francisco in April, and obviously that was not to be. And so we postponed to late August, and it became MAME Under the Stars. And we were able to secure a pop-up drive-in at the Pleasanton Fairgrounds, Alameda Fairgrounds. And so MAME moved to a drive-in. And this was supposed to be August the 27th. We actually ended up having to postpone it one more time because of the fires that we experienced. But at the end of the day, the MAME Awards was celebrated with over 110 cars. All the guests came. We had, the BIA was fantastic. Evelyn Orgonton did a fabulous job. We actually had parking spaces by sponsorship and by level, just like if you had tables at the awards program. And so when you came in, all the folks from Lansing or D.R. Horton or Shea Homes were all parked together in groups. They came, Lansing came, they all came at one time, and they all came in as a parade. They had flappers, they had LED necklaces on. It was all very team-like. And we came in, there were food trucks, there were bars, there were people with their masks on that did walk around and talk to each other because it was outside. And at the end of the day, when the sun went down, in 1 hour, we watched the MAME Awards. Everyone celebrated each other. There was honking and screaming and clapping. I will tell you, the one thing that I've missed the most is hearing people cheer for each other. That is very powerful. And everybody loved it, and it was a great experience. And I'm hoping that this becomes much more normal for everybody. Obviously, it's going to be a little harder as we go into the colder months. But yeah, it was fantastic. And you could do this for other events as well. This could be a drive-in for, you know, grand openings or anything else, or even BIA or HBA events, because it's safe and it's understandable.
And how cool that you add the element of honking the horns. So,
oh yeah. And as people came in, they were greeted. We had a hospitality sponsor, New Home Professionals, and they handed out goodie bags. And in the goodie bag, you had popcorn, and you had candy, and you had hand sanitizer, and you had masks, and you had a garbage bag, and all kinds of goodies, so that you were there and you felt like you had all the fun elements of the drive-in movie. And the greatest part was we had a pre-show. We showed some of the fun stuff that you used to see at the drive-in of the cute nostalgic movies, and kids were there. That was the other thing. Kids came to MAME because they could be there. So we had, I mean, I think there was probably 30 cars that had kids under the age of 10, and they were experiencing MAME, and you could hear them. They're like, oh, this is cool. I love this. And look at that. And so again, another generation is exposed to recognition and our industry, and I call them the children of the industry have been indoctrinated. So
that is awesome. So you didn't have to serve food or beverage or whatever. You just did the goodie bags.
Well, we did actually. We had the opportunity because that space, they had 2 food trucks and they had a bar available too for us. So again, you could do food trucks or you could do something else, but you didn't have to. It was just something that was available for that space. But
right.
No, we had folks who came, they had their own goods. I had a number of folks who, in the trunk of their car, they had bars set up.
Uh-huh.
One gal had an entire bucket full of splits of champagne and candy. We had another group that had, they had made their own nashi food. So they were sitting there with their beach chairs with their entire setup, just like if they were at home. So it was the best of all worlds.
Yeah, we have a question from Wendy Costanzo asking, any idea the cost of the drive-in and space rental?
So as I remember, it depends on where you are, but I think this was somewhere in the realm of $6,000. And so it wasn't in any way, it wouldn't break the budget. It's just having to find that availability and the opportunity. This was a Thursday night, so it was during the week. They were doing movies on the weekends. And so you have to just find the opportunity. You have to be a little flexible with these things. And it was very cost effective for an event.
So you just had pre-recorded the whole show, I'm assuming, and that's what you played?
Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. So we pre-record all of our events, make sure that they're all timed so we know exactly how long they are. And again, we put it out there and everybody enjoys it. And as we said, this isn't the traditional where you get to come up on and accept your award, but what we did have is we had video acceptance speeches from almost all of our winners.
Wow.
So you heard from everyone, and even if they weren't there at the drive-in, they had the opportunity to thank their team and thank their partners, and so many voices and lots of texture.
That's cool. How did they actually get their awards? Were they available that night for pickup?
They were shipped that day,
Awesome.
and they received them in their offices the next morning. So it's fantastic. So then what you saw the next morning was a whole bunch of people sharing the information, sharing our virtual winners book, and taking pictures of their awards right the next day. And that's just it. Awards are, it's credibility, it's visibility, but it's also marketability for yourself, your company, and your community. And so it's also celebration of, hey man, we did it. And also feels great because it feels, this is the one thing we're all craving right now, feeling the sense of normalcy.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and you didn't do this at an actual drive-in theater where they had the stalls and the spaces and everything. You actually popped this up at the fairgrounds. So I think that's something too. If you don't have a drive-in near you, it'd be great if you could support a local drive-in. But if you don't, maybe in a parking lot, a mall parking lot.
I was going to say the mall parking lots are empty, so why not?
Yeah. So if you're a large master plan community or a large community with a big space, you can actually buy this same exact setup on Amazon for about $4,000.
Wow.
And so you could buy it, you could have it available to yourself, and you could use it for whatever you wanted to. So it's very affordable. And again, like you said, if it doesn't exist, create it. And that's just it. And maybe what you could have movie nights in a master plan community, just bring in and engage people who don't even live there. They'll get used to being there, and all they'll want to do is become part of that community.
Absolutely.
Great ideas.
So moving on here, changing things.
Yeah, moving on and changing to, giving away cool stuff. So with everybody cooking and baking more, the Providence Group of Georgia decided to host a drawing for a KitchenAid artisan stand mixer. They encouraged potential buyers to visit their newly decorated Glendale townhome model. And it was very well attended. People would attend, they would tour, that would enter them to win. And then anyone who had visited through July 31st was in the drawing, which they gave away via Facebook Live in August. I just love seeing this creativity, finding a way to tie in the new community and getting people to come through and tour it and enter to win, and then enter to win something that's applicable to us all staying at home and baking more and doing all the things we're doing more of.
Man, I would have come to Georgia just for the opportunity to win.
I wish I had been eligible to win.
This one's great too.
This one's awesome too. And of course, as hard as I have tried to get everybody to participate in my new Farm Fit program, where I'll allow you to come clean my stalls and throw hay around and clean fence lines and all of that. I mean, you can pay me to do it. It'd be great. The Peloton has just been hot, hot, hot. Everybody's looked for ways with the to exercise with the gyms closed or fears of catching something at a gym. So again, Providence Group of Georgia, they came up with this great idea to give away a Peloton, because I mean, they're hard to find now. Everyone's bought one. So in this case, if you toured any one of their 6 townhome communities through September 30th, then you were entered to win. All they had to do is tour, and they were entered to win the drawing. Realtors who toured with a client were also entered to win. Both they were entered to win and their client. And you could earn an additional entry if you purchased a home during the promotional period. So actually, this drawing will take place on Facebook Live next Friday, which is October 16th at noon. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure it's going to be very well attended because a lot of people registered to win this.
So I've got a week to get to Georgia.
Well, you would have had to have already, I think you had to have toured the communities through September 30th.
Oh, shoot.
So sorry, you're too late. You should have done it last time when you came to visit me on your way through town.
That's a brilliant idea. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to get your Peloton at this point.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
So Lisa, the Nationals is coming up. We have to get a shameless plug in for the Nationals. And as many of you know, I'm the incoming chair for the National Sales and Marketing Council. So this huge tradition, huge gala. This is our Oscars. But we still don't know what the heck we're doing because we have to plan 5 million contingencies, right, Lisa? So how are we handling all that?
So I have certainty of one thing. I have the certainty that the Nationals competition, no matter what, will take place, and we will have award winners in whatever fashion it turns out to be. But you can win your beautiful Sam trophy for your efforts. So don't get too discouraged. Get those entries in. Entry deadline is the 29th of October, so you got about 3 weeks. And here's what we know. We know that we're going to have an event to celebrate our industry and all these incredible achievements and all this innovation that we have seen in 2020. Whether or not we're going to be in Orlando on February 9th, we're going to find out. And the world's going to tell us how that's going to play itself out. And whether or not we do a hybrid, or if we do virtual, or if we're all together, we will celebrate and we will recognize the best of the best. So I look forward to it. I know it's going to be incredible. Just from the things that I've seen today, just today together, I am so encouraged with what our industry is doing. And there's just so much to be excited about and learn from and share. So yeah, if you have entries out there, please feel free to submit. Self-nominate your sales teams or your sales professionals or your industry professionals, and then submit all those exciting ideas and product that's out there. It's all about the people, the places, and the spaces.
So many opportunities, and I'm already matching my dress with my mask. So I've already got it all picked out. So it's always a big deal, and it's always just a fun event. And if you haven't been to the Nationals, you've really missed out. So, but I think how do you plan when you don't know? So how do you handle all those things?
You just have to, at this point, you have to just kind of see where there's opportunities. And, whatever you're going to plan for, it's probably going to change. So you have to look for opportunities. You have to look for new ideas. And you can't be scared of trying something new. That's the one thing I think we've learned in 2020. I mean, we normally do 20 awards events around the country throughout the year, traveling all over. And we had to pivot and do 9 in 90 days virtually. And at the end of the day, we learned a lot. That's the thing that's the most important part. And you learn from each other. But the key element to this is talk to a lot of people, understand what's happening, what people's desires are. And, you just got to kind of take a deep breath and jump in the deep end of the water and hope.
And understand that people are going to understand, I think that's been an awesome part of this. So questions, open forum from you guys. What do you think? Have we given you some ideas today?
I've gotten some ideas today. I always get great ideas from Lisa and from you. So thank you for your contributions.
Yeah, and thank you. I mean, it's really, you know, I think when we come together like this, it really makes a difference for everybody. And, you know, whether we're doing it live or listening to the recordings, however you get the information, just get it. We're all so slammed these days.
So here's one thing I want to share with the group, and I think that everybody needs to kind of rethink is, this is where statistics, your high school or your college statistics are starting to catch up to us all. It's learning how people are digesting content, like we talked about earlier, finding out realistically where their touch points are, because everybody just has a little different expectation of what they're going to do. What we learned is that when we put our awards programs out, we would put them out on a specific day. And like I mentioned earlier, 70% of the people will watch it live, and then 30% watch it over the course of a week. But the most interesting part was our winners books that we put out, which are virtual flipping books. We get the highest engagement in those winners books because people want to go see it. They want to learn, they want to download it, they want to digest it, and they want to share it. And so if you, when you're doing these different events, it's coming back to it and seeing what was the end all be all product and learning from it for the next thing. So that, I guess, is one thing that I would share with everybody is, you know, when you're doing something, it's always going to evolve. It's not going to stay exactly in this space or in this format. So remember to go back and see how it functioned and make those tweaks for the next one.
I always call those the postmortems to do. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Make those notes, plan for the future.
Exactly. And we can, you know, it can always get better. So don't beat yourself up if something didn't go well. Focus on what did go, what worked, and just do more of that. So
Right.
Our next webinar is going to be back at 2 p.m. Thanks for everybody jumping on at 1 today. We are going to be talking, I guess I should actually say the date, right? So that's November 13th. But we're going to be talking about planning and setting goals for 2021 when we have no clue what 2021 is going to look like. So, but if we don't start planning now, you know, we're going to be way behind the curve. So that's what we're going to be talking about our next webinar.
I love how you color coordinated that slide.
I know, isn't that cool? I like that. I thought that was really cool. So
it turned out really well. So say, yeah.
So thanks everybody for joining us. And I agree, Carol, a bus tour webinar would be fun. Maybe we should look to do something like that with some of the people who've entered the nationals or something. For
that's a
December.
good idea.
That could be a lot of fun.
I like that. We'll work with Lisa on that.
Awesome.
We can bring that to you all in March.
So in March?
Well, that's, well, if we're doing it, well, do we want, I guess we could showcase them now. I was thinking we could showcase them after they won.
We don't have to say, we don't have to say whether they won or not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. We can.
That might be a fun December Christmas present to everyone then.
Yeah, we could have fun with that. So we'll tour the country. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next month.
Happy birthday, Carol.
Thanks for participating in my party. Now I get to eat this. Thanks, Kimberly.
You're welcome. Enjoy it.
Smells good.
Bye, everybody.